Lamar Hunt was a driving force in the creation of the American Football League, from its founding in 1960 to its merger with the NFL 10 years later. Hunt also founded the Kansas City Chiefs, and each year the trophy bearing his name is presented to the champion of the American Football Conference. Hunt was responsible for coining the term Super Bowl, which is now synonymous with the World Championship of Pro Football. As head coach of the Kansas City Chiefs, Hank Stram was the most successful coach in the history of the American Football League. Before the rival leagues merged, he beat the National Football League's best in Super Bowl IV.
Come on, Lenny. Pump it in there, baby. Just keep matriculating the ball down the field, boys. Boy, that's a bad call. How can 6 of you miss a play like that, huh? All 6 of them. The ball jumped out of there as soon as we made contact.
I thought you were talking about you being on the field.
No. What?
Stram may have been a character, but he was also an innovator. He came up with revolutionary concepts in football coaching that are still used today, such as the moving pocket, the 2 tight end offense, and the stacked defense.
For 12 seasons, Johnny Robinson epitomized athleticism and toughness on the gridiron. Drafted by the Dallas Texans, Robinson began his pro career as a halfback, but played safety for 9 seasons with the Kansas City Chiefs.
It is intercepted by the same Johnny Robinson we've been talking about.
Known for his grit, the 1970 interception leader played through 3 broken ribs in Super Bowl IV and helped lead the Chiefs to a 23-17 upset over the Vikings. With 57 career interceptions, Johnny Robinson retired as one of the greatest defenders to ever play the game.
Linebacker Bobby Bell was built to play professional football. His lightning speed and chiseled body helped him hawk down and obliterate all ball carriers, big and small. He desired to be the best. Most opponents would argue that he was.
If the player that played against Bobby Bell did not go off the field, and when somebody asked him, said, who's the greatest player that you ever played against? If they didn't say Bobby Bell, then I didn't do my job.
Quarterback Len Dawson entered the NFL in 1957. But it wasn't until 1962 that the future star's potential was fully realized. From 1962 through 1968, Len Dawson averaged an impressive 25 touchdown passes per season. Kansas City's head coach Hank Stram labeled his starting quarterback the most accurate passer in pro football. Number 16's MVP performance in Super Bowl IV etched his name into the annals of pro football lore. The highly touted Junius Buck Buchanan was the first player selected in the 1963 AFL Draft. He dominated at defensive tackle for 8 seasons, earning the right to play in 6 AFL All-Star games and 2 Pro Bowls. He possessed amazing strength and surprising speed for a man who stood 6'7", 274 pounds. Perhaps his most impressive attribute was his durability. Buchanan's most dominant performance came in Kansas City's Super Bowl IV upset win over the Minnesota Vikings.
Kansas City Chiefs standout Emmett Thomas was one of the best cornerbacks of his era, capable of baiting any quarterback into a mistake.
He was like a cobra. He could run backwards as fast as somebody could run, wide receiver ran forward. He would trick quarterbacks into throwing the ball. He would act like he didn't have the guy covered real well and all that sort of thing. He was a very, very, very good football player.
A 5-time Pro Bowler, Thomas becomes the 6th player from the 1969 Super Bowl champion Chiefs to be enshrined in the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Middle linebacker Willie Lanier was a dominant force on a Kansas City defense that dominated the league.
Good shape, baby!
Nicknamed Contact, Lanier punished his opponents with precise, earth-shattering hits. His uncompromising play catapulted him into 2 AFL All-Star games and 6 Pro Bowls.
You didn't get that.
A 4-time All-Pro selection, Jan Stenerud was the first kicking specialist inducted into the Hall of Fame. In a career spanning 19 seasons, Stenerud never missed a game. A scoring machine, Stenerud was the NFL's all-time leader in points and field goals at the time of his retirement.
Curly Culp burst on the NFL scene in 1968 as a defensive tackle for the Kansas City Chiefs. Relentless against both the run and pass, Culp anchored the Chiefs' defensive line for 7 seasons and was a key player on their Super Bowl IV championship team. In 1974, a blockbuster trade sent him to Houston, where he became the centerpiece of a defensive revival that saw the Oilers reach the AFC Championship in 1978 and 79. After 14 seasons and 6 Pro Bowls, Culp called it a career in 1980. He remains one of the most dominant defensive tackles of his era. The Kansas City Chiefs selected Derek Thomas 4th overall in the 1989 NFL Draft. The Butkus Award winner from Alabama recorded 10 sacks as a rookie, earning Defensive Rookie of the Year honors, and his first of 9 consecutive Pro Bowl appearances. On November 11, 1990, Thomas set an NFL single-game record by recording 7 sacks versus the Seahawks. DT accumulated 126.5 career sacks, 116.5 of them in the 90s, more than any other player of the decade. Thomas's career was tragically cut short when he died from complications resulting from an automobile accident following the 1999 season. A member of the 1990s All-Decade team, Thomas's impact on the NFL was immeasurable. As a 14-year fixture on the Kansas City offensive line, Will Shields started 223 of 224 games, pushing the Chiefs to lead the league in total yardage gained in both 2004 and 2005. Shields was a key member of the Chiefs' offense, unlocking 4 division titles and 6 playoff appearances, earning him 12 consecutive trips to the Pro Bowl.
I think I'm gonna go for greatness.
For 17 seasons, Tony Gonzalez was one of the greatest tight ends to ever play the game.
Why not look for number 88 every time?
The 14-time Pro Bowler spent the majority of his career in Kansas City, breaking countless franchise records and dominating defenders across the NFL. Gonzalez also played 5 seasons with the Atlanta Falcons and retired after posting 1,325 receptions and 111 touchdowns in his career.
Most touchdowns, most catches, most receiving yards by a tight end in NFL history. He's the best tight end ever to play in this league.
Absolutely.
During his 15-year career as an NFL head coach, Dick Vermeil turned 3 different teams into playoff contenders. Hired as head coach of the Eagles in 1976, Vermeil turned around the downtrodden franchise, guiding it to an NFC title and Super Bowl appearance in 1980.
I'll tell you where you're going. You're going to the Super Bowl.
Citing burnout, Vermeil abruptly resigned following the 1982 season, only to be lured back to the sidelines 14 years later as head coach of the St. Louis Rams.
We won it.
After guiding St. Louis to a Super Bowl win in 1999, Vermeil moved on to Kansas City, where he led the Chiefs to a division title in 2003. Twice named NFL Coach of the Year, Vermeil retired with 126 victories.